in, guys. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you for Ernesto for understanding everything that I was saying, of course. Let me start over. Welcome in. This show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Our PHNX code, or code of PHNX365 will get you some bonus bets over there. And then go over to Game Time, if you can hear me now, and get $20 off your first purchase using our code of PHNX there to go to baseball games that won't feature Josh Naylor any longer because the Diamondbacks have traded him. This is it. This is the beginning of what we all feared. And it's interesting that here we have Josh Naylor as the first piece that has been moved. According to Jeff Passan at ESPN, the Dbacks have traded Josh Naylor to the Seattle Mariners in exchange for two young arms. The first one is Brandon Garcia, who just made his major league debut for the Seattle Mariners and is seems to be a little bit of the main focus here of this trade because he did, again, make his debut this year and is an actual major league pitcher that the Diamondbacks could use out of the bullpen. The other arm is Ashton Izzy, who is currently pitching in the Mariners system at high A. And again, just two prospects, two pitching arms, which the Diamondbacks desperately need in their farm system. And honestly, at a major league level right now, in exchange for a player that it's not great depth, but the Diamondbacks do have depth at first base. They do have Pavin Smith essentially returning here. They do have James McCann and other guys that have been kind of taking some grounders over there at first base. And I mean, just throwing this out as a suggestion, but if the Diamondbacks should want to keep one Gino Suarez, they could swap him over there at first base as well and maybe have somebody like Blaze Alexander play third and perhaps Jordan Lawler be that third baseman of the future over there while still retaining Gino Suarez's services. But Josh Naylor being the first move here is interesting. And I'm sure that a lot of you are already kind of expecting Josh Naylor to be moved. As far as what I was hearing prior to this, Naylor was not only sought after by a lot of teams, but he was also, I think, one of the guys that was kind of perhaps a priority to move because of the depth that the Diamondbacks have behind him. Not only do they have the options that I discussed, but Tristan English did get called up this year, and he is a guy that could be the first baseman of the future for this team over there as well. So as far as depth goes, as far as minor league options go, the Diamondbacks probably, I mean, first and third are two positions that they do have covered well. It's the reason why trading either one of those guys makes a bit more sense than the starting pitching, just due to the lack of depth of starting pitching. The Diamondbacks have been decimated by injury, not only at a major league level, but at a minor league level this season. So it makes a lot of sense that, of course, Gino Suarez is the first player to get moved. And it also makes sense that the return here is prospects now, or not prospects, but pitching specifically. So, and B's in the chat says, yes, more Pavin. He's excited about that. Jacob asks, why didn't we get Rowley, J-Rod, and Brian Wu? Great question. Great question. Maybe Mike Hazen has definitely lost a step. I was definitely expecting him to fleece Jerry DiPoto, and there are some questions here about these young arms. But to be honest, as far as the Diamondbacks' needs, this very much fits their needs. And it is them parting with a position player while still not losing a whole lot. I mean, Josh Naylor, to be honest, was acquired by trade. He had a fine season for the Diamondbacks. Josh Naylor was a pleasant surprise. Maybe not necessarily the power that we were expecting to see out of him with only 11 home runs, but he did have 59 RBI and a 292 batting average this season for the Dbacks. And again, he was very solid for this team in a lot of ways. We know he struggled defensively early in the year. And again, I still don't know if those were his struggles as much as maybe the rest of the team's defensive struggles as well. But yeah, they definitely got themselves, at least the return that they were looking for. Controllable players for a guy that most likely was going to depart this team at the end of the season due to his, expiring contract. So this whole situation, though, does really feel like it signals the beginning of the Diamondbacks starting just an absolute fire sale. And when I say that, I think, we just spoke on today's show. Jesse Friedman from Snakes Territory stopped by, and we chatted about, the possibility that the Diamondbacks could trade maybe two of these guys, maybe at the most three, but you have a hard time believing that they were going to trade all four of these major pieces that they have on expiring contracts. Not to mention, you also have Shelby Miller and Jalen Beeks also on expiring contracts. And, you know, again, it while it's tantalizing to try to get as much in a return as possible, the Diamondbacks still need to field a Major League Baseball team this season. But I do think that the Diamondbacks, you know, may have been able to get something a little bit more for Josh Naylor, but I do hope that if they end up trading Geno Suarez, that the return is more significant than this. But it is still at least addressing the Diamondbacks' needs, not only right now with a guy that has made his major league debut and is pitching at a major league level, but also a guy that adds to the depth of the farm system, and specifically for the pitching for the Arizona Diamondbacks that's been depleted quite a bit, and they need to do everything they can to kind of, you know, balance these trades that they're making. The Diamondbacks have some coveted pieces that a lot of teams are interested in, so obviously this is big for them. But what we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we have more on this trade, what it means for the Diamondbacks, and I'm going to read every single one of your comments, especially the ones about me being muted and not being able to listen to me. And of course, hopefully I won't go away here right now. But don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, we've been talking about Phoenix Raceway Championship weekend for NASCAR. I've been trying to tell everybody how crazy I am about NASCAR. I should have used this as an opportunity, since I'm here in my house, to go grab the crazy NASCAR outfit I have. This one's just honoring Josh Naylor, but NASCAR is incredible, and it is something you absolutely should experience, and not to be too doomsday about it, but this is the last opportunity to see the championship race right here in Phoenix. So do not miss this opportunity, not forever, but just for a little while, because it has been here in Phoenix for some time now, but it is going on the road starting in 2026. So get out there and get the best access in sports. Phoenix Raceway for championship weekend, NASCAR championship weekend. It is electric. You can get some of the best access that you have ever seen in a sport with a small ticket upgrade. You're in the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience, up close in the garage, meeting drivers, walking the track, getting pictures. They have a pre-race concert. It's incredible, and it's the best value in sports, hands down. So don't miss your chance to witness NASCAR championship weekend in person, coming to Phoenix Raceway October 31st through November 2nd. Tickets for Sunday's Cup Series championship race sell out every single year, so move fast to get yours now before they're gone. And here's the kicker. Once again, NASCAR is taking championship weekend on the road starting in 2026, so this is your last chance to catch it in Phoenix for a while. Tickets, hospitality, and upgrades are still available. Get yours now at phoenixraceway.com. And that's not all I got for you guys. I'll tell you, Gila River Resorts and Casinos is a great place to go out there and maybe play some futures bets, maybe on the Seattle Mariners team. I don't know, but you can check out what they have to offer over at BetMGM Sportsbook at the Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can catch all of the action with massive screens, delicious food and drinks, and all the action. Plus, you get that little paper ticket in your hand. It's the ultimate place to watch and win. Place your bets and experience the excitement. Plus, make it a staycation and stay there in town. Go to Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Check out their over 4,500 slots and live table games, and just make it a great time. It's a great place either for a night out on the town or a weekend away. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. Maze Devil in the chat makes a great point in regards to the return for Josh Naylor here. Excuse me. Apparently, I'm just ready to say the return for Geno. But he says, FYI, these were the Mariners' 4th and 5th best ranked prospect pitchers. And again, these are guys that the Diamondbacks need for depth. So maybe not the fleecing as of now, because we still don't know how these guys are going to pitch, but it's very hard at this point of the season, I feel like, to get the kind of help that the Diamondbacks need. So there is a balance here for Mike Hazen in these trades to, yes, try to still put a competitive team out there for 2025 and not wave the white flag with these trades, not give up. But there is rebuilding towards the future, and the Diamondbacks aren't a team that typically takes a lot of time to do that. So there is some shortages, if you will, for pitching depth in 2026. Now that's not going to necessarily be what Ashton Izzy feels. That's more of a future prospect for this organization. But Brandon Garcia seems to be perhaps a pretty good fit here overall. And I think, again, if you are looking at all of the available players the Diamondbacks had that were going to be traded here, that were on expiring contracts, it was most likely that it was going to be Josh Naylor. Eugenio Suarez's value is extremely high. Merrill Kelly's value probably maybe even higher than Josh Naylor's. But Josh Naylor he was a coveted piece. In fact, before I heard about the Diamondbacks talking to teams about Gino, I heard that they were talking to teams about Josh Naylor. So really what this comes down to is perhaps this move is one of the two moves that the Diamondbacks make, and perhaps moving Josh Naylor instead of Gino keeps Suarez in the Valley. I feel like the sentiment overall is that most people of this crop of the four that the Diamondbacks have potentially to trade away, that Suarez was kind of the heart here, the fan favorite, the one most of the fans wanted to see stay here. But I'll also say that, again, that's mostly because of the success and what a sweet boy Gino is. But that still doesn't mean that Suarez won't be traded. And it doesn't mean that Suarez won't be traded to this exact Seattle Mariners team. So there's a good chance that trade could still happen. The one thing that I feel like indicates that they will still make some more trades is how early this was happening. I was not sure I was not sure how early these moves were going to happen, but here we are, where the Diamondbacks absolutely have started early and did not wait until that July 31st deadline. So what else? Got some super chats here. I think I got Kevin with me tonight, and you guys know that Kevin's somehow going to bring the bad vibes to this team because he's done that so far in his time. But Kevin, we got some super chats?
Indeed we do, Darren.
All right, we got Candace says, do we put ADC at first base, or do we call up Tristan English and see what he can do? I feel like there's going to be multiple options tried out throughout this season, and if the Diamondbacks do have things go south on them, if they do kind of wave the white flag, the one benefit is that guys can get the opportunity to play some of these other positions, and guys can, perhaps get a chance to find a place to play other than, like in ADC's case, just solely catcher. So I don't know, though. I don't know how far down the depth chart ADC would be. I feel like the likely option would be to bring up Tristan English. So that's really for me. I mean, the Diamondbacks already did call up Tristan English, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them call him back up. Also, one Stephen Carey, who used to be the broadcaster for the Amarillo Sod Poodles, had raving reviews about English when we spoke the other day. So there's a good chance that he could be the Diamondbacks first baseman, at least of the foreseeable future, or come up and at least be part of the platoon there at first base. What else we got, Kevin? B says, we own the Mariners in trade market. Odds favor us. He's not wrong about that. He's not wrong about that. But again, it's still have to see how these guys work out. As of course, Killer Rex is here to say they got horrible pitchers, and he's here to probably demand that Torrey gets fired for this trade somehow, some way. But other people here are here to actually find out what the Diamondbacks got. And I mean, to be honest, I think that they got exactly what they were looking for. It's probably not the fleecing that we thought, but we also don't know what these guys are going to kind of grow into and be for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Overall, I think that this is at least a chance for them to get something for Josh Naylor, but not maybe not the haul some people expected them to get. I don't know, though. I think overall they had some needs to match, and this starts matching their needs, but it isn't. I don't think it's not necessarily enough. I think the Diamondbacks will still make some moves, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's two more moves and not just one more move. But the early timing on this does give me an indication that the Dbacks still have some work to do here. I would still love to know what they're going to do for starting pitching should they go out and trade away Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. So that still remains to be seen. And then everybody's waiting to see what happens with Geno Suarez. So it was a little bit heartbreaking there yesterday at the end when Geno Suarez was being asked about this trade, because you could very much tell he didn't want to talk about it. And the one thing that he kept reiterating is nothing's been done yet. And, he could be right about that. At the end of the day, it could be he could be the one guy that the Diamondbacks try to keep. According to Mark Feinstein and a tweet that went out earlier today, the Diamondbacks are asking for a king's ransom for Geno Suarez, as they should. I don't. It's not often that you have one of the biggest offensive threats on your team available to be traded away on an expiring contract on a team that does not appear to be headed for the playoffs, that you can ask for everything for. And then on top of that, there is the possibility of still bringing him back after the season because he is a free agent. So I don't know if the Diamondbacks just go full in and just try to keep him at this point. But of course, Josh Naylor, at least being traded, feels like the odds have moved a little bit in favor of keeping Geno Suarez. But let's see. Comments are flying by. Kevin, I'll let you pick out anyone you see here. But I do know that there is a lot of talk about, who these young guys are. Carlos here says, I got emotional seeing that photo of him soaking in what is probably his last home game in Chase Field. And yeah, in regards to that, there is a weird fan perception, I think, and I don't know. Obviously, the picture, we don't help because we use the picture because we think it's hilarious, of Josh Naylor with Geraldo Perdomo throwing gum on him and water on him and all that stuff. But that night there started this, I guess, kind of idea that Josh Naylor was not happy here and did not want to play baseball here. And I will just say, since this is the end of his time with the Diamondbacks, that I never saw that. And in fact, I saw I quite frankly saw Josh Naylor enjoying time with his teammates. I will say that he was a different kind of guy. He was a different kind of guy, and he has more hockey jerseys than I've ever seen one human being own. And this is coming from a guy that has a heck of a lot of Roosevelt shirts. So I'm not going to throw stones, but I will say that he definitely is a guy that was enjoying his time here, was enjoying his teammates, but also probably knew it was short-lived, considering that he got traded here on an expiring contract. And pre-rec here says Naylor is a Canuck through and through. And I think maybe that was the biggest problem, is that he was traded to a team with no hockey team. And that was probably the worst part of doing that to Josh Naylor. His soul was too far away from a team. Now, not only, as Candace says, he's closer to Canada now, he has a hockey team once again to root for. So I imagine there's going to be some electric customized Kraken jerseys being made for Josh Naylor as we speak. But I will say that he was a key part of this offense. The Diamondbacks have the second best OPS in baseball. And quite frankly, they are not the second best offensive team in baseball without Josh Naylor and without Geno Suarez. So again, if maybe trading away Naylor and keeping Suarez keeps their offense potent enough, and can continue to try to get some pieces in return to make this team somewhat competitive. But as far as this move is concerned, it's looking towards the future. And quite frankly, with the way 2025 has gone for the Diamondbacks, that's what they probably need to be doing right now. So, but yeah, I mean, again, the talk is that there are 12 teams currently interested in Geno Suarez, and that is only probably going to increase for sure. So the Sports Boy says Mark Feinstein said they're fitting to try to trade Suarez for a ton of quality players, but if not, they will try to re-sign him in the offseason. And I think a lot of Diamondbacks fans would be very, very happy with that. But Russell Smith has been demanding an explanation of these pitchers and this trade. Let me do it for you, Russell. Let me see. The Diamondbacks went out there and they got themselves one guy who has been through every level of the minor league system that you can imagine and just made his major league debut. His numbers aren't very sexy, but according to his scouting report, his stuff is pretty electric. So if the Diamondbacks can maybe get a guy like this in part of this trade that can help them fairly immediately, maybe not do much for this season, but can help fill that gap in their bullpen for 2026, that can be, again, one of the big things that they needed to acquire as part of this trade deadline haul. And then the other player, Ashton Izzy, again, a guy currently pitching in high A, far off prospect, but with the way things have been depleted for this franchise, they kind of need it. And I imagine that here near in the future, they're going to be looking to the services of a lot of those guys returning from Tommy John. So those guys might not be returning necessarily to the AAA system, to the minor league system. They might stay at a major league level, talking about guys like Tommy Henry and other players, Blake Walston for certain. But this is not a trade to make this team immediately better, nor did we expect the Diamondbacks to do so. But it is a trade that definitely addresses a big need for this team, which is relief help. And the Diamondbacks absolutely need relief help. The Rooster 7574 says Tristan English has been called up. I don't have a way to confirm that right now, but if that's the case, again, would not be any surprise. The Diamondbacks need a first baseman here in Pittsburgh to play against the Pirates. So we got some media availability tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. With one Mike Hazen. So we will have more from Mike on tomorrow's show. Probably have another podcast in regards to this trade tomorrow with some more here from the Zoom meeting with Mike Hazen. So we appreciate you guys stopping by tonight. Hope that, of course, this at least explains a little bit of what the Diamondbacks got in return and gives some insight on why at least Josh Naylor was the most expendable piece of the guys on expiring contracts. The Journey 361 says, real talk right now, if Gino manages to fit 40 as a D-back but still gets traded, should we free Derek from the bet? I would just be sad. No, there will be no freeing of me of the bet. If Gino hits 40 home runs in a Diamondback uniform, this beard is going to look stupid and teal. And if he does it a few games after he becomes of whatever team he gets traded to, I'll probably still do it, just because I think, like I said in the Discord last night, I think we'll all need a good laugh by that point. So looking at me going into serious press conferences looking like the clown that Killer Rex thinks that I am would probably be very entertaining to most of you. So we appreciate you guys so much for stopping by. Again, we will have way more on this tomorrow. My reaction, given it before we get out of here, not surprised at all. And nor should many of you be. And in fact, again, I feel a little bit of hope that, maybe the Diamondbacks do the thing that a lot of us are wanting them to do, and maybe not trade away the guy that's competing for the home run lead in the National League. But again, we will be back tomorrow with a post-game show after the first game of the Pittsburgh Pirates series, as well as more from Mike Hazen from his press conference tomorrow morning. So we appreciate you guys for stopping by so much tonight. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening. We will see you guys. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. You know that. It's a ridiculous Twitter handle. Shout out to my guy G1 for throwing it in a rap song recently. We're going to have to address that on a future episode. Also follow the show at PHNX_Dbacks. But as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you again for your time. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. Hope this brings, like I said, some balance to what is going on. And again, we'll have more for you tomorrow. Have a good night. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you trade away Josh Naylor, but not Gino Suarez.
We all silly like the mayor.